Namaskar and warm greetings from DELNET Developing Library Network, New Delhi. It's a profound privilege for us to have each one of you with us this afternoon for the webinar session on skill development for new millenniums, LIS professionals, and overview, which will shortly be delivered by our distinguished speaker, Dr. P.R. Goswami ji. It's a profound privilege for us to hold this webinar session, and I would like to welcome each one of you. Distinguished Dr. P.R. Goswami ji, the esteemed speaker of today's webinar session, the eminent librarians, LIS professionals who have been there with us today on this platform, the HODs, the faculty members, researchers and scholars, students, my own DELNET staff colleagues who are there here at New Delhi office, as well as in the offices at Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Pune. Ladies and gentlemen, I, Sangeeta Kaul, on behalf of DELNET, Developing Library Network, New Delhi, extends a very warm, hearty welcome to each one of you for joining us today at the very last webinar session being organized by DELNET in the year 2022. It's a profound privilege for us to have with us this afternoon Dr. P.R. Goswami ji, who would be speaking on a topic which holds a great relevance for each one of us, the library and information science professional. On this occasion, I would like to take this opportunity, as I said, that this is the last webinar session of DELNET being organized in this year, 2022, which each one of us are going to, say a goodbye in yet another 2 days' time. We would like to take this immense opportunity to convey our very warm, sincere, appreciation for each one of you who have been a very active part, of the deliberations, and also because of your active participation, you have been inspiring us to hold these webinar sessions across the year. I am very pleased and honored to inform each one of you that during the year 2022, that is right from 1st of January 2022 till after today's webinar session, DELNET has been able to organize 76 webinar sessions spread across the year, and I'm very much pleased, and each one of you deserves a great accolades and praise that when I'm informing you that they have been attended by more than 26,000 professionals across the country and also from many of the other countries, which we remain overwhelmed, with the kind of a response that you always have been, providing it to DELNET, and also to convey that you always inspires us, to keep on moving ahead and keep on organizing these sessions for each one of you. We remain truly appreciative and grateful, and we really look forward to having many more collaborative times in the next new year, 2023. I have an immense pleasure in introducing our very distinguished speaker, and I have a great honor and pleasure in introducing Dr. P.R. Goswami ji. It's a profound privilege for us, sir, to have you today with us. You have been of immense support to DELNET, being our distinguished governing board member and also the honorary treasurer of DELNET for decades altogether, and we really, sir, are much grateful for all the everlasting support that you have been extending to us, and it's a great honor and pleasure to have you with us on this platform today. All of us are fully being aware about the fact that Dr. P.R. Goswami ji is one of the most renowned Indian library and information science expert, and also an archive management expert. He has a long experience of serving the LIS profession for more than 4 decades. It's nearly 40 years of experience that Dr. Goswami has with him. He's well versed in various administrative rules and procedures that are prevalent in the government libraries in India. He has held senior positions in several government departments and autonomous bodies. And just to name a few, it includes Planning Commission, now the Niti Aayog, Government of India, wherein he served as a Chief Librarian cum Documentation Officer, Indian Council of Social Science Research as Director Documentation in the National Social Science Documentation Center, Ministry of Culture, Government of India as Director Libraries and Director Central Secretariat Library, Shastri Bhavan at New Delhi. He has been associated with Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts as Director Library and Information, New Delhi. Dr. Goswami's academic interests and research areas include social science literature, sources of government information, statistical data sources, social science librarianship, and related issues. Dr. Goswami was awarded the membership of the American Society for Information Science and Technology in the year 2000 on the basis of an international paper contest. He was a member of the social science section of IFLA and Special Libraries Association. He was also the Secretary General of Indian Library Association during 2000 to 2002. Dr. Goswami has visited USA, New Zealand, South Africa, Germany, Poland, South Korea, just to name a few, to attend various academic engagements. He has also been bestowed with a Lifetime Achievement Award, which was conferred on him by the Delhi Library Association in the year 2018. Indian Association of Special Libraries and Information Center, ISLIC Kolkata, also honored him with Dr. A.K. Mukherjee Lifetime Achievement Award in the year 2017. Dr. Goswami is also a member of the Technical Advisory Committee for Library and Documentation Services, Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, and Book Selection Committee of CSL. Dr. Goswami has also been a distinguished member of the governing board, and we have immense pleasure in having served with us, and who has been of great support to DELNET right from the very inception of DELNET. Dr. Goswami has published 3 books, and to name: Statistical Information Systems and Libraries, published in 1996, Corridor of Books, Memories, Ideas, and Reflections of a Library Worker, his memoirs, in 2019, and a recently published title in this year only, it got published, Evolution of Gazette of India. He has also published a large number of scholarly articles in various national and international journals. It's a profound privilege and honor, sir, to have you with us today on this on the webinar platform. We have profound privilege in welcoming you, and we would now like to request you to kindly start the deliberations of the day. We are just sharing the screen from this end.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta Kaul, Director DELNET, for a very long and generous introduction. And today I am here and I have retired from active full-time service of Government of India or any other organization. Now I can say I am spending my time just reading, writing a little bit, and I am very grateful to DELNET for inviting me to deliver this address on skill development for new millennium LIS professionals and overview. At the very beginning, I would like to stress here the skill development of librarians is not taken very seriously by our planners and policymakers, even our librarians, though it is a very important subject. And according to the government initiative 2014, when the new government took over, a new skill development ministry has been set up at the center. This does not mean that earlier there was no effort from the government to develop skill. There are a lot of discussion in the parliament, also in some rule books, also in some new education policy which was introduced in 1986 regarding vocational education. But the more stress has been given recently by the government on skill development, precisely because in India there is very little connection between what is taught in the universities and what is required by the employer, what the employer want from the newly recruits, except for a few cases where the professionally educated doctors, engineers are needed, or say administrators at a very high level like Indian Administrative Service. But general education and employment, general stream education like BA, BSc, BCom, and the requirement of the employee, there was a mismatch. Now there is a basic infrastructure which is called Director General of Training. It was existed before also, National Council for Vocational Education and Training, National Skill Development Corporation, National Skill Development Fund. And apart from these, there are 37 sector skills councils, National Skill Sharing Institute, and 15,000 industrial training institute all over the country. I think everybody knows about these ITIs, which are located in various districts, and they train the people to become proficient in certain trade, like you can say electricity, plumbing, carpentry, etc., etc. Next, please. Apart from this, there is a National Skill Development Mission. And during the past, say, 5 to 10 years, there have many missions have been started by the government. One was, of course, National Library Mission, National Mission on Libraries, in which I was closely attached. The mission statement of the National Skill Development Mission has rightly said to rapidly scale up skill development efforts in India by creating an end-to-end outcome-focused implementation framework which aligns demands of the employers for a well-trained, skilled workforce with aspirations of Indian citizens for sustainable livelihoods. Skill and knowledge are the two major driving forces of economic growth. First one is the mission statement, and last 3 lines are my addition. Skill and knowledge are the two major driving forces of economic growth and social development. How these two factors have dependency relationship in the library information science, that we would also discuss. Now, previous one, please. Now the one sentence which is very important here: the demands of the employers for a well-trained, skilled workforce with aspirations of Indian citizens for sustainable livelihoods. Because there's a lot of dropouts from the school, because there are not many people after passing out from schools get job on the basis of their qualification, and the qualification they get of a general education, of course the quality is also very poor. That's why the skill development program wants to promote a system of getting well-trained, skilled workforce with aspirations of Indian citizens for sustainable livelihood. Sustainable word is very important. Livelihood, it is not that you get a daily wage, five days job, then you leave that. After 10 days, you get another job. So this is not sustainable livelihoods. You should be skilled enough that the skill is in demand in the market, and you can get a job for which you are needed lifelong. I mean, at least for 20-25 years during your career. Here, skill and knowledge. See, knowledge and skill cannot be separated. This is my argument, because what you know, you can add up that with your skill. In a library also, what we are taught in the library schools are not very useful when you enter a library, but the base you get, the basic knowledge of a library, what a library is, who are the user and how they behave, you can add up that with your skill. So these two have dependency relationship. I will explain it later how this can be done. Next, please. The skilled manpower, some facts. India is facing a crisis. There is a shortage of well-trained skilled workforce. Only 2.3% of the workforce in India has undergone formal skill-oriented training, as compared to 68% in UK, 75% in Germany, 52% in USA, 82% in Japan, and 96% in South Korea. See, once I tried to find out in USA why the US citizens, not many US citizens, high percentage of US citizens go for higher education, because they are get some sort of skill development, skill based training in their high school, and after that they enter the job, because there is a tradition in USA that after your age of 18 years you should be independent, so you should not live with your parents. So that makes them want to become self dependent or go for a job which can give them sustained livelihood. But in India, we have a youth population constituting 54% of the population, that is below 25 years of age, and 62% of the population belong to the working group, that is age 15 to 59. Next. So now what about the LIS sector? Coming to our subject. LIS sector, if you just make a survey of the training programs conducted, you find that information technology is the prime mover for most of the training programs. Of course, technology has developed during the past 50 years. When we joined the library science course in Delhi University, we found the first wave of technology application, indexing and abstracting databases like ERIC or chemical abstract were made available in electronic form. Second wave was CD-ROM revolution of 1980s and 1990s, allowed more elegant database implementation. An explosion in full text electronic data reference works was noticed. Third wave was the closing years of the 20th century. It has changed the many things, bringing promises of earlier technologies to full potential, largely due to the internet-based communication infrastructure. So the third phase is very important, and many of the benefits of the third phase, that is internet-based communication infrastructure, has changed the entire library scenario during the new millennium. We started 22 years ago. Next, please. Information and communication technology revolution has changed the world of librarianship. We are now in an era of internet-driven librarianship. Everything is dependent on internet connection, internet speed. Reference books, which are living rooms of the middle class homes. In Calcutta, I have seen in many drawing rooms of many of our relatives, there was an encyclopedia, a dictionary, a thesaurus, or a book of quotation, have been now superseded by Wikipedia, dictionary.com, Google Map, and smartphone. So people now believe there is no need to keep the print version of these reference material. They can do away with it. And now they're mostly dependent on gadgets like Google Map, smartphone, and of course, Wikipedia. In many progressive libraries or those attached to elite institutions like IITs, IIMs, IISCR, prominent CSIR laboratories, and certain engineering and medical institutes, LIS professionals now need a separate set of skills. What are these set of skills? I am not very familiar with that, but I will try to discuss a little bit. Next one, please. What are the new skills? The biggest challenge to LIS professionals is to stay relevant. In a world which is changing fast, new set of skills that are needed include content curation, discovering, gathering, and presenting digital content that are related to a specific subject, research and analytics. A much larger amount of information and scholarly content are now easily accessible. The skill required to categorize and filter this information needs to be developed. So this is very important. Content curation and research and analytics, because you can only filter the information we have in the digital mode if you understand the content and structure of material and categorize it and maintain it properly in a manner which can be used by others. Next one, please. Quality indicators. Familiarity with the indicators like impact factor, article influence, H index, immediacy index from databases and services like Web of Science, Scopus, Simago, Google Scholar, etc. Almetrics, this is a short form of alternative matrices. It has evolved as a methodology to measure the impact of scholarly works and research published on the web. Digital preservation. Digital preservation is considered to be a necessary IT skill for LIS professionals. Long-time archival preservation of contents is a challenge for LIS professionals. This is a very debatable issue because the LIS professionals argue that we have software, we have the infrastructure in which we can preserve the digital material for a long time. But what is the evidence? I think digital preservation technology is not that old that you can give some sort of prediction that this will last for 50 years or 100 years, because the vendors or the IT companies have their own interest in changing the format, because they will get more business when the new format is adopted by the libraries. And there is another issue. During the 70s and 80s, when we were student, impact factor was the most important thing for measuring the productivity of a scholar or a journal. But now this has been diversified, and some new quality indicators have been developed or thought about, which are now applied to measure the impact of literature or of a scholarly periodical or of scholars, etc., particularly in the field of social sciences and humanities, and also in sciences, of course. Next. But is there too much emphasis on digital content? Is it good for LIS professional? When you go to a library, when I go to a library and ask somebody a question, reference query, what he will do is he will just find out its answer on the internet. Then I very clearly told them, this I have also tried. So don't do that. You tell me if you have any latest report or any unofficial official document, or a document which is not available on the web, which is yet to be put on the web, or any other literature on the subject which one cannot access through the internet. If you have anything, you tell me. Otherwise, this exercise I have already done. Of course, there are conditions that if you know how to do the deep web search, and if you are technically very proficient, you can always help the reader who have a limited proficiency in searching information, like me, who is a wrong side of 60s, old person, retired person. But for a young and dynamic librarian, they have to develop all these skills. But there is also a very important factor that has been raised by the neuroscientist Susan Greenfield and Nicholas Carr. He said there is the turning to digital is changing our brains for the worse. There is a fear that digital textuality is altering our cognitive abilities. Ready-to-use digital content does not inspire us to go for details. When the digital content is readily available, so it does not inspire us that we should try to dig more or try to get more information, more scholarly information from other associated sources. That blocks our view. In this digital world, librarians are required to read more about structure, content, and provenance of various esoteric information sources in original and develop necessary skills to compile suitable user's guide. So it is more important that there are many esoteric sources, information sources, whose content and structure are not explained properly on the websites. I do not know how many you have studied economics. In economics, there is a very important source is National Account Statistics. It gives an overview of the economic condition of a country in a particular year. It has many tables and many definitions, many reliability statement, and we can say explanatory note at the bottom of the table. Now, as a librarian, you are required to understand, required to interpret that source to our scholarly readers who are tries to understand the different tables interpreted in that source. Now, how we can cite an example, I will tell you. Next one, please. Need-based technology skill. Technology is changing very fast. New technologies related to information consolidation and dissemination are coming. What technology can be used by a particular group of libraries? A prior assessment is necessary. See, technology is changing very fast. It is not necessary that librarians of all categories, of all types, should learn all technologies. What is needed in your library is more important. So a prior assessment is necessary. I will give you a very recent example. When we are asked to review or examine make an assessment of the National Mission on Libraries, we are asked to prepare. It is called third-party evaluation by the EDSIL. And Dr. Sangeeta Kaul was also a part of it, if I am not mistaken. So at that time, the Bombay IIT told us that they have conducted many online courses in which 600 people have attended. So they have achieved a great objective. But nobody knows out of the 600 who attended the courses, how many could actually apply that, could understand the course. Number one, it was on Koha. And how many could understand the course, and how many had the infrastructure in their library to install Koha, because it needs some sort of technical knowledge is also needed to install the Koha software and maintain it for a long time. So that part was not given any importance. And very surprising thing is, this is only for public library staff. So I am not convinced that the public library staff of this country, which is public library, is given the least priority in terms of employment, in terms of emoluments, in terms of pay scale, service condition, etc., etc., that they are motivated enough to learn Koha and install Koha software in their libraries. I'm doubtful. I think it has mostly, it remained only on paper that they have. There may be some exception, maybe 10-15% of them must have applied them, but mostly it became only on paper. It is only the statistical, you can say, manipulation that we have done. So many training programs and so many librarians have been told. Because IIT people that we wrote in the evaluation report, they do not know what is the skill level of the public library staff. Neither they had the intention to know, and they treated the public library staff with their budding students of IITs who come to IIT clearing a very, very tough examination, very tough examination, uh, which is recognized all over the world. That is one of the toughest examination for entry to an engineering college. Next one, please. Now let us take another sector. I'm just giving some example. This doesn't mean that there are no other types of library. I'm taking government libraries because I have some experience in that. In order to serve in a government library, a separate set of skill is required. The government libraries are defined as a support service institution attached to ministries and departments. These libraries are required to serve the officials categories as generalist administrators and specialist practitioners. Their collection consists of policy papers, committee commission reports, notifications, plan documents, statistical compilations, also material for recreational reading. LIS professionals working in these libraries must seek opportunities to serve the limited number of clientele in the best possible way in the fast changing digital information age. Now, in the government offices also, a lot of material have been digitized. But the problem is how to structure the digitized material, how to structure the content page, and how to give some sort of guidance to the officials when these papers can be used and how this paper can be stored for a long period. Now LIS professionals working in these libraries must seek opportunities to serve the limited number of clientele in the best possible manner to stay relevant in their own organization. Otherwise the government librarians will be sidelined by others. They must seek opportunities to serve the limited number of clienteles in the best possible way in the fast changing digital information age. Next, please. Next one, please. Just once. Following developments in the government information dissemination practices are providing opportunities to progressive future-ready librarians. See, Right to Information Act has broke the tradition of secrecy in government to a certain extent. It has encouraged the officials to become proactive in disclosure of information. Second Administrative Reforms Commission in its 12th report on citizen-centric administration, the heart of governance, has endorsed the Sarvottam model prepared by the Bureau of Indian Standard for public services. So there are guidelines according to which you can proceed. Right to Information Act, if you read it thoroughly, properly, there is an instruction to the government departments to put all relevant information related to the department on the web. And this is why even these days when you apply for a job, you get the information how many people have applied, who have been shortlisted, and when the interview is held, what is the result of the interview, etc., etc. Previously, it was not done because there was no guidelines, or it was not mandatory to reveal all this thing. Now it has become mandatory, so that unnecessary people do not spend their time in getting to know this important piece of information, which are important for their career. And second, in Administrative Reforms Commission has given many guidelines regarding how to the citizen-centric administration, how to do that, how to implement that. They have a model which I think most of the librarians do not know about it, but I think that it is very relevant for the government librarians, and particularly the libraries of National Library Calcutta, or you can say the autonomous bodies which deal with the government policies, like Department of Personnel and Administrative Reforms, Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Finance, how to deal with the citizen-friendly way in their information dissemination programs. Next one, please. Now, there was another policy, National Data Sharing and Dissemination Policy. It says that the digitized data utilizing public money should be widely disseminated. National Informatics Center has started a national portal, India Government In. It contains government information sources as well as online services accessible from a single point. It also provides link to 6,700 government websites. In this new open access environment, LIS professionals will play the role of a skill intermediary. In both these things, the LIS professionals have a major role to play. They can provide a link, act as a link between the citizens and the government, providing the citizens relevant information which are needed for their study, research, and their general utility. Government information system is not only data. It also includes analysis and interpretation of data in a policy, decision, and problem-solving environment. So you don't think that only data is sufficient. How you analyze and interpret the data in a policy, decision, or problem-solving environment in a right manner is very important, because not many people, even the scholars, research scholars, do not know the national information infrastructure which is run by the government. One of the major part of this infrastructure is statistical system, in which I am little bit familiar with, and there is an organization called National Statistical Office. So if you try to understand what it exactly do, different branches, different types of reports, how the reports are presented on the web, and which are the reports which are not presented, which are available on payment basis. Though there is a national data sharing dissemination policy, don't think that all the data are freely available on the web. There is a secrecy item. There is a public what is called now data protection bill, which has been recently introduced in 2019. It says you cannot share data, personal data, to others. There was some violation of that, so the government was prompted to bring a data protection bill, and hopefully it will be passed within a year or so. I'm not very sure whether it has been it has been come to the parliament or not. I'm very not sure. And similarly, there is one very important report which has come out, that is called time use survey. This is for the first time in the country. The survey has been done to find out how people spend their time. It is a survey of households, rural and urban both. So first time in India this survey has been done, and it will unique type of report. And there was recently an article on this report. If you are interested, you can read one of the recent some 3-4 months back time use survey report. You can find out on Economic and Political Weekly. There is a report which says which examines this report. Next one, please. Now, what is the skill needed for public library staff? So I am running out of time, so I will finish within 5 to 7 minutes. Public libraries in India are a neglected lot and needs a drastic improvement. Following issues need to be addressed. Public libraries are found in state capitals, district headquarters, small towns, and certain villages. They work in isolation and have limited financial resources and skeletal, lowly placed professional staff. Engagement with the local community could be the main objective. Building Niti Aayog's new project is building as learning aid for school children. How public libraries can become facilitation centers. Services provided by local authorities like municipalities have been made online. Now, this is a new project. Why this project has been introduced by Niti Aayog? Because Ministry of Culture believes a public library is a place where some books and magazines are kept, where people can come, read books, borrow books, and return. There is no other additional promotional activity takes place in a public library. That is the general perception of the Ministry of Culture, and this perception has not changed for the past several years during my tenure also, because they believe that library is a brick and mortar building which has some bookshelves, some reading table, certain books, certain magazines, and it is mainly used for recreational purpose. So this perception has not changed. But in the rural areas, in the government's aspirational district program, there are 138 aspirational district where they have said that there is a BALA project, building as learning aid. There will be building which attract the children, mainly the school children, to come, play, read, learn. The walls will be decorated with slogans, with quotations, with statistical facts, other important facts of the government, of the state or the district, whatever it is, so that people are attracted and spend some time there, and some recreational activities will take place, storytelling, recitation, some competition, etc., etc. And this has been approved by the Niti Aayog, and I don't think the Ministry of Culture even knows about this, but we wrote it about in our evaluation report. When the government, I don't think people read report. I mean, the government officer, they don't have time to read reports. Next one, please. Public libraries need to create opportunities for the youth and other members of a community, women, children, members of working section, perform the role of a facilitator in the day-to-day life of the common citizens. Public library officials should be able to develop responsiveness, reliability, and trustworthiness among the members of a local community. John Palfrey had writing about Public Library of America project has observed that public libraries should resist a world in which role of public spirited institutions is dramatically reduced in favor of a commercially oriented firms offering sleek interface. This is exactly what I was trying to emphasize in the technology part, that okay, technology is fine, but commercial entities are interested to bring applications, application software. Now many people are preparing app. Even 12 years boy is also preparing an app. These should not be dominated by the commercial oriented firm. And the public library's identity as a public spirited institution should not be what you call say reduced. Its identity should retain, it should not disappear. That is a public institution working for the public, not for the commercial oriented firm who are able to sell their apps to the libraries and make them follow whatever they are offering, to pay them the price and just accepting what they are offering. So this should not be the case. So the librarian should have the knowledge of the technology to evaluate what sort of apps they are getting from the commercial firms, and on the basis of an assessment they should use it. Next one, please. Now another 2-3 minutes I will take. See, there is a financial literacy skill in the public libraries. This is a case study which appeared in a journal. We say that now librarians are mostly interested in information literacy. It's a very general view of information literacy, how to use, how to access computer based information, computer database based information, and how to search internet, and how to get consult catalog, online catalog, etc., etc. But now the most important thing the government says is a financial literacy, due to the scheme like the Jan Dhan Yojana, in where crores and crores of bank accounts have been opened. The people should, mostly in the rural household, they should know what is the interest rate, what is a compound interest rate, and what would be the most beneficial scheme in where they can invest their small savings. Otherwise, this will turn in the possibility of debt trapped in rural household. If they do not know the combination of awareness, knowledge, skill, attitude, and behavior necessary to make a sound financial decisions and ultimately achieve individual financial well-being. This is financial literacy, and this has been defined by the Reserve Bank of India, and this has been supported by government, and maybe financial literacy centers have been opened in many parts. My argument is, why not the public libraries also intervene in this and invite the experts who are given the responsibility of enhancing the financial literacy in the countryside or in the village areas to come and work in the public libraries, call the people to the public libraries and deliver and teach them how to become financially literate. Next. Who is a future ready librarian? A tech-savvy library profession who can run an ICT infrastructure satisfying all categories of readers is preferred. How the readers view a library? There is a belief that a thing like core human experience of using a library should always very good. The core experience remains somewhat consistent. A physical library needs to be alive and inviting. A library is also viewed as a place of escape, a place to work and think and to notice, which are generally overlooked or forgotten. So core human experience of after entering a library is very important. Since India has not been able to invest much in the library infrastructure, but if you go to a foreign country like United States, all libraries are very neat and clean. Even in Thailand, which I have visited very recently, I found their libraries are very neat, clean, well managed. All books are new. Most of the books are new, computerized. Everything is available there. Every facility is available there. So this experience keeps the libraries alive. Next, please. I think next, please. Next one. Next one.
You may, sir, you may take, no issue, sir, another 10 minutes, 10 minutes, so you can take it easy.
Because it is already, sorry.
Sir, no problem, sir. It's so interesting, sir. So please, everyone would like to, ensure that,
Okay, then
yeah.
go to the
So
previous
please.
one, please.
Sir, we will like, yeah, please, kindly, sir. We'll do that, sir.
Previous.
So we had done sir, yeah.
Yes. So how do you, no, previous.
Previous one, so yeah, this one is where we left.
Okay, yeah. Okay. The future readiness is basically knowledge about an informed speculation. See, you can speculate many things, but your speculation should be based on some information, or in Western country, it is called evidence-based librarianship. Should be based on some evidence. And many years ago, a professor from a management institute who specializes in organizational behavior had asked the participants in a seminar organized for LIS professionals, is there any threat to your profession? There was no reply, and he thought that the answer was no. He said, not perceiving any threat is itself a threat. Future-ready librarian should guard the profession in an appropriate manner. Technology should not drive the libraries. Rather, the LIS professional should decide what technology is to be adopted. This is very important. If you become totally dependent on technology without knowing much of a technology, like a very well-trained IIT engineer or technologist, I think you will be driven by the technological firms. What technology is to be used in your library. They will try to impose their product, and you have to accept it if you don't understand properly. Next one, please. What is the new skill? The emergence of big data will need LIS professionals with training in data analytics. The demand for data scientists, software developers, and statisticians will increase. An issuing of library technology report devoted to artificial intelligence and expert systems has said that these new technologies have the potential to change the basic function of a library. It could be from cataloging to information search to interface with the users. If librarians do not understand or do not experiment with it and do not build their own tools, they will be dominated by commercial technology providers. I think same thing which I have said earlier, that artificial intelligence and expert systems should try to understand. If you have some sort of background in technology, or you have to learn that technology, how this technology are applied in libraries, and artificial intelligence has many facets. It does not mean that artificial intelligence is a high profile tech, with a person with a high profile degree can only understand it. I think even the librarians properly trained in artificial intelligence can also do a little bit of application, and same thing with the expert systems. So they have to learn them, otherwise they will be dominated by commercial technology providers. Next, the communication skill, which is not very common among the librarians. How do you communicate with whom? Your fund giver, your user, your immediate boss, or your subordinates, or your reader particularly. In a very important book, The Beginning of Infinity, Explanations That Transform the World, by David Dish, who is a physicist, award-winning physicist, he writes, in this book, I argue that all progress, both theoretical and practical, has resulted from a single human activity: the quest for what I call good explanations. The success of a LIS professional depends on how he or she explains or interprets his services to the recipients. In other words, we can say the future of a LIS professional will depend on how the profession is explained before the development planners. This is a very important skill, and it is needed not only to convince our planner policymakers, but also our international donors or the people who are sitting at the who are making policies in the international bodies like IFLA, SLA, etc., etc. Now, my question is, how many library professionals have a very broad and mature understanding of the subject? Once I raised this issue, that among the library professionals, they try to emphasize a subject, try to emphasize the importance of a subject they know, and they don't give a very broad or mature view of library information science and present it to the policymaker so that they can take some decision. So this is very natural in a world which is dominated by specialization. Everybody is specialist these days. Even the librarians are specialized in different fields. But a broad and mature understanding what a library is and how the libraries can be developed, maintained, and sustained. There is a word called sustainable, there is a slogan these days, sustainable development, this is by United Nations, can be sustained is a major skill to be attained by the LIS professionals. Next, please. What about research? A doctoral research has become mandatory for higher position in academic libraries. Following are my questions. What topic for research? Many researchers prefer a simplistic survey-based research. Why? Does it add to the existing knowledge? They should ask whether the research they are doing, does it add significantly to the existing quantum of knowledge, existing type of knowledge of libraries? Responses from the users group or real stakeholders are not satisfactory whenever trivial subject like library studies. Why not to go for snowball sampling? In the third party evaluation report, the Market Research Bureau, Indian Market Research Bureau, who conducted a quantitative and qualitative survey of public libraries, they said that it is very difficult to get response from the public regarding public library, functioning of the public libraries, because they think it is a very trivial subject. Now, in that case, there is a technique called snowball sampling, in which you have to find out 4 or 5 persons in a locality, in a town, or in a small district, town, district headquarter, who are knowledgeable about the subject. You interview them, get their feedback, and you also ask them who are the other people you know in this district who can give some feedback on the subject. If you go and ask somebody reading a newspaper in a public library, what is your opinion about the library? They will say, oh, I wrote newspaper. Very good, very good. It is, you get the newspapers, so I am satisfied. So that is not an actual survey. Survey sampling should be done in case of a subject like libraries very carefully, selecting people who are interested in libraries, who are interested in reading, and who are interested to give you their opinion, what sort of service a library should provide for the local community, because they are the members of the local community. So their voice and their understanding of their need is very important. Next one, please. This is my concluding remarks. I have tried to make certain issues and facts that could be considered while discussing skill development for LIS professional. There is a need to strike a balance between technology skill and domain knowledge, and knowledge of the subject in which a particular library or a group of libraries specializes. In order to stay relevant, LIS professionals working in government departments and public libraries need to be proactive. They have to seek opportunities to serve their clientele in the best possible manner. They should strive for customer delight. There is a term in business management, customer delight. So after entering your library, your reader should be delighted that yes, I have come to a place which is really satisfying, where I can spend some time, very quality time. So this is my brief presentation, and thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much for such an outstanding, an extraordinary talk, sir, on this topic of reskilling, upskilling, how really to gear up, to the challenges. And it has been such a very comprehensive coverage, sir, that we never could have wished for anything more than this, sir. Has been one of the most outstanding talks across the year 2022, and it has been all made possible only because of your presence, sir. You and each and everything that you spoke was coming out of your great amount of wisdom and experience that you have been having with you. And you gave us a very holistic approach of everything, right from the various perspectives that you have deliberated, sir, today's talk. We can't really thank you enough, sir. And it has been really a great honor and pleasure to have your talk on this topic, which holds a great relevance for each one of us. And to stay relevant, as your last message goes, that to stay relevant, we need to really have a fresh thinking. And to get into the new year 2023, you have gifted, each one of us, each one of the professional, a fresh new thinking that you have been able to generate through this wonderful deliberation, sir, of yours. And thank you so very much indeed, sir, for taking out so much of time and sharing your wonderful insights, thoughts. And that was evident from the wonderful, interaction that you have been able to share through this platform. We remain, sir, much grateful. In fact, we were able to see how much of, the interest that you have been able to generate, because there have been questions coming on our chat boxes when you were speaking. And so with your permission, sir, we would like to take 10 or 15 minutes of yours, and we would like to make the floor open for questions, Firstly, I would just like to take a couple of questions which are already being posted in the chat box, and I would just like to take that, and also would like to tell it to all our colleagues who are here today on this platform, that you can post either your question in the chat box. That would be, we would be able to take more questions if you're going to do that, or otherwise we would be more than happy to give you an audio control. This is a question coming from Dr. Nihar K. Patra, who is wanting to know from ISER. He's a librarian at ISER Behrampur. And he's wanting to know, sir, that as you said, what we taught in library school is not mainly utilized in the library works, for which LIS students are again learning in the library. Looking at this juncture, why practicing librarians are not allowed to teach the students in the library schools? On the other hand, as per UGC guidelines, teaching library professionals without having librarianship experience are eligible to become a librarian. How do you justify, or what is your comment on this? So he's wanting to know, sir, that why librarians cannot be allowed to teach in the library schools.
So my answer is very simple. You know what is the quality of a profession? When you qualify as a profession, it could be any profession, maybe teaching profession. You guard yourself, guard your profession, and do not allow others to enter it without certain degree of competence or some special qualification or accreditation, whatever it is. So in that case, our teachers are very reluctant to allow teachers of LIS. How much they are competent or not, I do not know. Neither I want to make any comment. So there is hardly any interaction between the library science school and the librarians, and so this is the reason why it is not happening. And UGC, due to very obvious reasons, UGC is for teachers, not only for the librarians. Librarians come much later in their priority. So UGC will, according to the new rules, I think that even a teacher can become a librarian, but a librarian cannot be a teacher. That is my interpretation. I do not know. I'm not in that profession, so I do not know much. So this is the reason, but it will be very good if some sort of arrangement is made. There is a close interaction between the libraries and the library science teachers. So the learning while working, I mean, which is very prevalent in United States of America. Many of the engineering students go to the labs and learn certain things, and from labs also many people come and teach them. So this is not happening in India. Maybe it happened after a few years. I think this is my answer.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We are making the floor open for questions. I could see I have lowered the digital hands of everyone, not knowing fully whether you are genuinely wanting to ask a question, and in order to make the best use of the time, I would just now like to request now, please raise your digital hand if you want to ask a question over the audio, or otherwise post your question in the chat box, and we will be very happy to take the questions from there. So I would just like to request, I'm going through from the alphabet A to Z, and just try to see those of you who may like to ask the question in the audio. Let me also tell it to each one of you that we are going to upload the entire, with the permission of sir, we are going to upload the entire recording of this session on the YouTube channel, requesting each one of you, please do subscribe to this channel called as a web view of DELNET. We have uploaded already the NACLIN deliberations, we have been able to upload. So we request you, please subscribe, so that as and when we upload any new videos, you are able to get notified. We have Dr. Madhu KN, who has raised his hand. Dr. Madhu, we are connected. You may ask a question to Goswami sir. Dr. Madhu KN, we are connected right now. Dr. Madhu KN, you have raised your digital hand. It seems that this is what really happens in a virtual environment, because we're not sure whether you have just been wanting to know that how a particular thing works. This is for Dr. Seema Sharma. Dr. Seema Sharma, you have raised your digital hand. Dr. Seema Sharma, could you please unmute yourself? Because of paucity of time, I will just like to, make once only a call, and in case if you're not able to connect, you can always write to us. You can write to sir for any of the questions that you have, and we will be very happy to even forward that to sir. We have Mr. Kanhaiya Lal. Mr. Kanhaiya Lal, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Mr. Kanhaiya Lal. I request my, colleagues, please don't click on to this digital hand unless and until you are genuinely wanting to ask a question. This is for Kavita Tyagi, because we get a false alarm over here that you are interested to ask, and then it takes away the time. Kavita Tyagi, Kavita, you have raised your digital hand. Could you please unmute yourself? And this is a request to all our attendees that you have this digital hand. Unless and until you're wanting to ask a question, then only click on to this. It appears on your screen, and I'm just quickly going through the entire listing to see if we have anyone else who may wanting to ask. This is for Poonam Tyagi. Poonam Tyagi, Poonam, could you please unmute yourself? Poonam Tyagi, could you please unmute yourself? Requesting everyone to please ensure that kindly raise. I had lowered all the digital hands and then made a request that those of you only click on if you are wanting. So please ensure, in case if you are wanting to ask a question, then only opt for this particular option of raising the hand. This is for Sudesh Rani. Sudesh Rani, could you please unmute yourself? This is for Sudesh Rani. Could you please unmute yourself? So I think this is also one of the skill set that we need to learn, that when we are in the online. So please use this only if you are genuinely wanting to. This is for Suresh N. Suresh N, could you please unmute yourself? I think, we perhaps we are seeing it today that majority of the hands were in. It is for Suresh Yadav. This is the last call for Suresh Yadav. Mr. Suresh Yadav, could you please unmute yourself if you want to ask a question? You have raised your digital hand. Suresh Yadav, we would have like sir to continue rather than spending time wherein we are not even able to see anyone who has missed. This is for I believe Dr. Vijay Kumar M. Dr. Vijay Kumar M, we are connected.
Yeah, it has been connected.
Thank God. I have one of our colleagues who is there. Yes, from Pondicherry University, Chief Librarian at Pondicherry University. Yes, Dr. Vijay Kumar, thank you for joining in. You may ask your question too, sir.
Yeah, it was the nice lecture that delivered by our Dr. G. Goswami. It is in continuation of the previous question and answer. Even as per the National Education Policy, even as per the National Education, NEP, the 2020, the practicing professionals are eligible to deliver a lecture. Even they can also act as a visiting professor also. In this regard, the practicing library professionals can be, extended an offer to teach the LIS professionals or students. Your comments, sir.
Hello. What I want to ask is, National Education Policy says that the practicing librarian should be invited to deliver lectures to the students, isn't it?
No. The practicing professionals are eligible to teach. In this regard, the practicing library professional also eligible to teach the LIS students.
That in the previous question also I answered in the same way. The policy is good. How the policy is implemented is very important. And who implements the policy? Policy is not mandatory that you have to follow the policy. Understand? Policy is not a rule or a law. So it is a policy, and in what spirit this policy is implemented by our library science schools is important, and it is very good suggestion that the practicing librarian should be given opportunity to teach the students. And how it is implemented, that is yet to be seen.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Dr. Vijay Kumar, for being there with us today. So there has been some, kind of an input being given by Mr. Arjun Anandakar. Says that there should be a provision for incorporating special library classes in schools and also in colleges in order to, make it possible for the students and others to know more about the library services.
Schools and colleges.
School and colleges.
Okay.
Sir, in his view, he says that there should be.
That is very good suggestion, and I want to just say one or two sentences that these days I have seen, at least in Delhi, that the many practicing librarians are invited by the colleges and universities to deliver lecture on plagiarism check, how to use the plagiarism software, etc., etc. If you take that this is also a part of library science education, I think librarians have a better footing. And in Delhi University, some of the college librarians have been given the scales of university professors. I do not know in which other university this has been implemented, but here I have been told that a few college librarians have been said. This is a very good sign. And now college librarians are invited regarding research ethics, plagiarism check, research methodology, how to search literature. These are the topics which are now taught by the practicing librarians to the students and the research scholars. Even to the teachers, I mean, junior teachers also, I mean, who have joined the profession very recently. So this is a very good sign, and I think this will be increase in future.
Sir, we have Mr. Sanjay Trimbake and also, a couple of others like Mr. Sanjay Trimbake's concern is, sir, what kind of skill set he says that we should have in order to ensure that the students comes to the library, what they should do. When the students are not coming to the library, there are, decreasing footfalls in the libraries. What kind of skill sets the library professionals should acquire in order to ensure that they come to the library, the users comes to the library?
See, in the management, there is a term called experiential learning on the basis of your experience. So you have to understand the psyche of the students, the attitude of the students towards studies, what they are lacking, and why they are not coming to the library, and what should be done so that come to the library. Have some brief interview with the students. Tell your principal that I want to spend 5 minutes in a class and to tell them about library, and I can so that I can get some assurance that at least 10-15 students will come in the morning hours, 10-15 will come after afternoon hours, and 10-15 will come in the evening hours. Good students who are, I mean, interested in study. And what are the facilities I can offer, I will discuss with them. So I think these are the something. See, the skill development is not universal truth or universal acceptable norms and theory. Skill development techniques or skill development tools and techniques has to be developed by you, keeping in view the condition. This is called the circumstantial evidence or based on evidence of the field, what is happening on the field. On that basis, you have to develop your skill. And of
Thank
course,
you, sir.
explanation is very important. How we explain it to the students, that is very important.
So we have a comment from Dr. Rajesh Sharma, and he has greatly appreciated your presentation and also saying that I think that the CPD, the continuing professional development programs, needs to be conducted as also emphasized in NEP. And he has lauded, the DELNET's efforts in, conducting the webinars continuously for library professionals. So thank you very much, Dr. Rajesh, the librarian at, Kendriya Vidyalaya Bilaspur. We are much thankful to each one of our professional colleagues who makes really the difference by being a part of these deliberations, and you always keep on inspiring us to keep on doing more. We have, sir, last question I would like to take, sir, Mr. Sunil Kumar Jan, who says, sir, in your view, how to enhance this digital learning among the users? How really to develop some kind of tools or something, in order to enhance the digital learning content among, wherever, means he's talking more in perspective of the library professionals, that what kind of strategies that they should have in order to encourage against a utilization part of it, but more a utilization of the digital resources among the students or a faculty.
See, digital resources are the resources whose contents are not visible readily. So you have to do some, you have to explore a little bit, to give some commands, etc., etc. And of course, these days, the most of the intelligent students, students of high-profile universities and colleges, they are proficient in this. But how to? I think that is on the publicity is very important. Publicity, and as done in Delhi University some 6-7 years ago, they used to go to the colleges and tell what are the databases they have, what is the benefits of these databases, and it was very highly appreciated by many college principals. So there is a gentleman called Rajesh Singh, who is now university librarian. He was in charge of promoting information literacy program in colleges, and that program was basically to enhance the use of digital resources by the students, because many of the print resources have been now stopped, particularly the scholarly journals, and this can be done only through awareness building or information literacy. You have to make some effort for that.
Thank you, sir. Sir, with your permission, now the last question, this is being posed by a student of BLISA, Manta Shah Abbas, and the question is, greetings, sir. I'm a student of BLISA and I want to ask, how can we make awareness among youngsters to use and read books more instead of social media entertaining platforms? This is from Manta Shah Abbas, pursuing his BLISA, sir. Yes.
No, can you repeat it? I could not.
Sir, how can we make awareness among youngsters to use and read books more instead of social media entertaining platforms? How, what kind of strategies to let the students, to encourage them to read books?
Oh.
And it's about BLISC students, sir, who is wanting to know about it.
This is a very, very tricky question, or very difficult question to answer, because now the entire society is dominated by social media. Now, just last week, I traveled by metro, and except me and 2-3 senior citizens and 4 or 5 ladies who were not from lower middle class background, all were using their mobile and seeing something. So mobile as a device has become so attractive, with lots of photograph, lots of information, good or bad, useful or non-useful, and to make them read books, I think this is a matter of culture. If you live in a family where people read books, then you are successful to inculcate the habit of reading. And I think parents, particularly mother, is very responsible, highly responsible. Mothers should encourage their students to read books and try to assess what type of books his or her children wants to read. Buy those books, bring to the home, and give them the books. And to divert their attention from social media, the best way is to give access to mobile phone for a limited time. That is the only way. When they because most of the students, they go to college in the morning and come back in the evening. To prevent them the using mobile phone is difficult, but whenever they are at home, they should be persuaded to read books, either course related books or fiction or literature, whatever it is. But I don't have any very ready-made or very lasting solution what she has suggested. It is a social malaise. So I am not a social reformer, so I cannot give you a very clear answer to this.
Thank you so much, sir, once again for such a wonderful deliberations, that we have been able to do today, only because of your very intellectual presence with us this afternoon. Much grateful to you, sir, for all your time and efforts in being there with us and sharing your vast expertise on this subject with each one of us. And we really look forward, sir, to take it as one of the major agenda point, for DELNET in the coming new year, wherein we need to also devise some new strategies that how we really can bring everyone, because even today we are able to see we have our professional colleagues from many countries who are there, and all of them, they agree that yes, there is a greater need to bring in some kind of a change, and especially for having this how to upgrade the skill sets among our library professionals. This remains as a very major issue, but Sir, DELNET remains committed, and with your wishes, with your cooperation, we are really wanting that in this new coming year, we should be able to work in a more constructive manner, besides organizing these webinar sessions and trying our best from this end, but also to have some new kind of an agenda to see to it that we are able to do and cover, and also to reach out to many more. So once again, sir, thank you so very much. Indeed, has been a great honor and pleasure. And sir, we would like to present one small memento to you as a token of our warm gratitude for delivering such a wonderful lecture today, and this has been a great honor, sir, for us. Thank you so very much indeed, sir. And with your permission, sir, we would be wanting to upload the entire deliberations of today on our YouTube channel of DELNET, and so that, because it has also been requested by many of our professional colleagues here today. So we are going to upload the entire deliberations, and this is for each one of you. As we close, the webinar session today, I would be filling in my duties if I do not really acknowledge the support throughout the 76 webinars, as we have told it to you, being organized by DELNET from 1st January 2022 till date today. And this is the last scheduled webinar for the year 2022. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our distinguished speakers of these 76 webinars who have been able to be there with us, sharing their vast expertise. And once we look back, they have been the most enriching and thought-provoking deliberations, discourses that we have been able to get, and lot many avenues for each one of us for learning something new, and lot many takeaways from each and individual session. So we remain much grateful to all our distinguished speakers of these 76 webinar sessions. We remain much grateful to each one of you. As I said earlier, you make a difference. Your participation, very active participations, also in the deliberations, that makes the entire difference. And we always feel more encouraged and motivated and inspired to keep on thinking about you, to keep on thinking about the areas in which we should do. And it is also to request each one of you that please do kindly come forward. Also suggest us, that what are the things, what are the areas in which you want DELNET to organize these online sessions, and we would be much grateful to you for your inputs, and that would really make the things, more focused, for DELNET, to do. I would also like to acknowledge the support that we have been receiving, my entire DELNET team, here at New Delhi office. They really deserves a great appreciation, for the efforts that they, always do for conducting these webinars. My very, very special appreciation and thanks to my colleague, Mr. Kushal Giri Goswami, our network assistant, who has been very much, taking care of all the coordinations, at the technical level for organizing these webinar sessions. Also, my other colleagues, including Mrs. Ranjana, Mr. Dinesh, who have been, helping out and reaching out to each one of you. It's a request to each one of you that whenever you are receiving, the intimation from DELNET for any of the webinar sessions, you are most welcome. Forward it. Help us, in reaching out to those which are unreachable, by DELNET. So you would be, helping us out in that mission of reaching out and helping out, and to let this, the light of knowledge to reach each and every, professional across, across the nation. So we would truly appreciate if you really can keep on helping us. You have been of great support, immense support throughout the year, and it's a moment for us also to acknowledge your splendid cooperation that you have always been extending. We would like to, on behalf of DELNET, as we are today on 29th of December, and we would like to wish you all, very happy new year, a very happy and blessed new year, and may each moment of the new year remains blessed with happiness, peace, prosperity, good health, and success. Let us continue our resolve to move forward together to serve humanity with new zeal and energy. Let our collaborations and connections grow by leaps and bounds in the new year. May the new year brings in infinite possibilities and opportunities for you and your near and dear ones. Wishing you all a very fabulous and a wonderful and a fantastic new year 2023. We extend our very warm greetings and wishes to you, your colleagues, and also to your family members. And it has been a great honor and pleasure for DELNET, to have you today with us on the very last webinar session. And we look forward to let's all get into the new year 2023, taking a pledge that let's get, stay connected, stay, always in a cohesive manner. We have to work together, serving to the society, serving to the profession. And yes, all of us, yes, definitely, we are making a difference, and we are definitely make a more better and impactful, impact in the coming new year. So with this resolve, wishing you all a very happy new year, and it has been a profound privilege and honor for DELNET to have been having you on our side always, and we can't really thank you enough. You really mean a lot to us, and your collaborations and your connections, we greatly value, and we greatly, cherish, your associations with DELNET. So thank you very much, one and all. Wishing you all a very happy new year 2023 on behalf of the entire DELNET team, from New Delhi office to Bangalore to Hyderabad and Pune, and from each one of us, who are being connected, in this profession as a professional, who are meant to serve the society. It has been a great honor for DELNET to have been, you with us in this year 2022. We look forward to having, the more meaningful deliberations and more meaningful connections in the coming new year. Wishing you all the very, very best, and we look forward to welcoming you in 2023 with new programs. So, sir, once again, on behalf of each one of us, Goswami sir, thank you so very much for all the great support, sir, that you have been extending to us. Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. And wishing you a very happy new year. Wishing you all a very happy new year. Looking forward to welcoming you in 2023. God bless you all. Wishing you the best of the times ahead. Very happy and blessed times to each one of you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.